In this video series, we will translate the first column of Huwa-Nofuli's Papyrus to understand how the ancient Egyptians sounded when they spoke their language. But before we start, here are a few things to remember about the ancient Egyptian language. It was written without vowels, and the vowels remain unknown, at least officially. This means the current vowels aren't the correct vowels. They aren't a reflection of how the ancient Egyptians would have pronounced any of the words. They are simply placeholder vowels made up and used by Egyptologists to help them have a way to pronounce the words and expressions. This means the words or expressions such as Akhenaten, Tutankhamun, Nefertiti, Hatshepsut, Osiris, Isis, Seti, Hotep, and all the other words we know as ancient Egyptian are made-up words. In addition, their language was also misclassified as a dead Afro-Asiatic language, which it isn't. It is a Proto-Bantu language which is still spoken in Southern Africa by their descendants who are the earliest Bantu people in Southern Africa. This is covered in my other videos, Who Really Built Great Zimbabwe, and the Bantu migration never happened, it was a Zanj invasion. So if you want more on that, you can watch those. But back to the language. When compared to any Bantu-derived languages, we find many similar words and expressions between these and the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. One common word or expression is Zuba, which is usually spelled and pronounced with a Z sound instead of an S in many Bantu-derived languages, as in Zuba. This word or expression means sun or a bright star in the ancient Egyptian language too, where it is presented as Gardner number 14. That's the hieroglyph number 14. So if you Google N14 hieroglyph, you will get the consonant sequence as it was written by the ancient Egyptians. And this consonant sequence doesn't have any of the vowels in it, but it has the root idea. And in this video, we will use the Proto-Bantu language to determine the missing vowels from the words or expressions. The Proto-Bantu language has the same consonant sequences of words or expressions that share the same meanings to the ancient Egyptian consonant sequences. And when the vowels are removed from these expressions in the Proto-Bantu language, we have matching consonant sequences to the ancient Egyptian consonant sequences. So that basically makes them the same language. For example, Majwi Nejali is what the ancient Egyptians called their language. The words or expressions Majwi and Nejali are still present in the Proto-Bantu language Plateau Tonga, and these still have the same meaning as they did to the ancient Egyptians. And when we remove the vowels from the Plateau Tonga Majwi, we get the same consonant sequence as the ancient Egyptian Majwi. And when we remove the vowels from Nejali, we get the same consonant sequence as the ancient Egyptian Nejali. It is also important to keep in mind that the ancient Egyptians were very poetic, which means that they wrote poetry in these texts that we have today. So these comparisons are like reading poetry in any language to a layperson. This isn't usually how they speak. It's very poetic, and some expressions might be too rich or creative for people to understand. So I will do my best to make the expressions familiar by putting them in a context that people usually use them. This doesn't mean that these expressions are different or that they carry different meanings. It's just sometimes people might not be used to seeing them in that context. For example, the first sentence in the papyrus that we're going to go over starts by saying Zuwa Dewa Mujati. That sounds very different because it's very poetic. Usually people will say something like Zuwa Njide Yamujati or Jamujati. Well, they would use Ja, not Ya, because Ja means something very great, and that's the sort of the prefix that is used to denote something great. So it would be something along the lines of Izuba, and Izuba, adding that I sound, is sort of considered proper grammar because you are defining one sun, one star. So you would say something like Zuba Nji de Jamujati. And so, but with poetic license, you would drop the conjunctions, which are ji and ja. So you would say something along the lines of Zuba de wa mujati. And sometimes people would say something along the lines of Zuba ngu de wa mujati. They are used to hearing that ngu sound because ngu is another conjunction or joining word that allows people to have more context, like it's the same as is in English or along those lines, where the sun is the stability or the stabilizer of our keepers, basically. That's what that first sentence from Huwa-Nofuli's Papyrus actually means. So let's get started and see how this goes. So the first column reads Zuva Dewa Mujati Si Wagufuta Uwabona Vana Huma Agati Te Palo. And I will go over this. The language is also spoken with a certain accent and a melody. And because I am switching from English to the language, it's sort of getting lost and I can feel it getting lost. So I will do my best to do this slower. So let's go back to the first sentence. Zuba de Wamujati. This means the sun or bright star is the stability of our keepers or the people who hold us together. So that's what that means. Zuba means the sun or the bright star. De means stability, and Plateau Tonga speakers might recognize de as in ile de yamwana, or the Zulus say vaye de. This is the same de sound. Wa mujati. Wa means of. Mujati means within the people that make changes or the people that hold us together. This is an authority figure. So, wa mujati means of the authority figures. The next sentence, si wagufuta. Here, si means the most paramount. Wagufuta comes from the word mahuta or mahuta, which means to shine brightly. So the most paramount who shines brightly. The next sentence, u wawana vana. U here means one who is of, and this u sound is very common in Southern Africa. When you hear the Zulus, for example, say umuntu, ubuntu, or it is prefixed to a name like Uyanda. This is the u sound, one who is of. So here in this context, it's prefixed to wawona, one who is of those who to whom the children are revealed, or those who watch the children. So this Wawona is the same context as the famous Sawona or Ndaguwona. Wawona means rising, to be revealed, or something that is seen. So Uwawona here would be synonymous with one who is of the watchers or watches over. Vana, strictly speaking, means the perfect reflection of the Vaila, those who ascended to the heavens, the perfect reflection of the gods. And the oversimplified version of Vana is children, basically. Children are a reflection of their parents, and that's the belief. So this sentence, Uwabwana Vana, means one who watches over the children, or one who is seen by the children or revealed to the children. Next sentence, Fuma Agati. Usually this sound is substituted with an H, Uma Agati. So Uma Agati means one who rushes or is an early riser along the horizon, because Huma means to be early or to hasten, and then Agati means the middle or horizon. The last sentence, Te Palo, means which sure is your home. Te basically verifies something, and Palo means your home. So, Zuwa Dewamujati, Si Wagufuta, Uwawonavana, Umaagati, Te Palo, is sort of speaking to the sun or the star that is brightest, and you're saying, the sun or star, the stability of the royals, the most paramount who shines brightly, one who rises and is seen by the children, early from the horizon, which sure is your home. I hope that made sense. And so the name of the papyrus is Huwa-Nofuli, which when oversimplified means answer the time of bliss. So it is a call to the time of bliss. Strictly speaking, Huwa-Nofuli means come plenty from the time of bliss, or come forth unimaginable plenty from the time of bliss, because Huwa or Hu means something that is of great magnitude. This is more than Ma. This is something that exceeds imagination in magnitude. Wa means of, so of exceeding explanation or imagination in magnitude. Huwa-Nofuli, from the time of bliss. Strictly speaking, Nofuli refers to the first sound, or the most beautiful sound. No is a prefix that denotes something that is beautiful beyond imagination, and that is the same prefix that is used in Nefertiti's name. She was actually Nofuli. That is the beginning of her name. Li in this case, or Li basically means a sound, or belonging to a sound. So Nofuli means the most beautiful sound. So Huwa-Nofuli means of great magnitude from the most beautiful sound, because it was believed that everything in the world came from the most beautiful melody or sound, which is called mulimo. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe for more. I will be posting the reading of this papyrus every Friday or Saturday morning, and if you'd like to show your support for this channel and the content, there's a link to our coffee in the description box below. Thank you for watching.